These are cute as feet. Got them at Target the other day. Mommy needed a little woosah moment. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to your favorite story time. I hope you guys have been doing well. I know you guys have been missing me. I was sick for 2 weeks straight, but I was posting mostly on my OF. Host Up Sisters, some Halloween content and stuff like that. So if you guys are looking for, you know, some of my uncensored content, definitely, you know, check it out. You know, a lot of people be getting like really frustrated with me and I understand why. One woman show, you hear me? With everything across like all of my platforms and stuff. I have friends that are on this space, that are on this platform, and girl, we grew up together, okay? We were making videos way back in the day together. They all have managers now. So I got some of my friends being like, girl, you need to like get you a manager, get somebody that can streamline these things for you because you are only one person. And I'm like, yes. If I want something done right, I need to do it myself. Brain works a specific way, and if you can't keep up or I don't understand your thought process, it's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be a problem. Also, oh my God, there's so much I have to say. Hold up, grab your wine, grab your snacks, because I am here to have a conversation, okay? I feel like this is my era. I feel like this is my era because I could not, nor did I want to, keep up with the Joneses, okay? As they say, super expensive things and luxury items. I'm not knocking anybody. Please do not try to start no okay, no shade, no tea. A lot of you guys, like on my Instagram and stuff, I was like posting a lot and pictures and like really trying to like be something that I wasn't, just to try to like mold myself. And girl, when I started feeling the pressure, I pulled back real quick. And everybody thought I was crazy. Everybody thought like, what are you doing? Like, how come you're not posting? How come you're not posting? And it was just like, because I don't fit in. I don't want to. I don't want you guys to aspire to perfection. I will embarrass myself first to teach y'all something before I try to like put myself up on a pedestal and act like, you know, you need to aspire to be like me. Like, there are certain things that we can give each other. You know what I mean? There are a lot of y'all that I look up to. I read y'all's comments and I'm like, oh my God, like I have a lot of respect and I look up to y'all. And so it's mutual. You know what I mean? That's my whole point. I say all that to say, having a manager and stuff, like they like book things for you and things like that. And I don't know if they're going to understand the alignment of what I'm trying to do, and it definitely is like opposite of what has been the trend. But once upon a time, I did have a manager. I did. There is a reason why she is no longer around. And girl, when I tell you, sit down, buckle in. I just worked all the time, and my mom had been diagnosed with cancer. So if I wasn't working, I was helping with her, taking care of her and bringing her things and groceries and making sure she was good. I just had a lot of serious shit going on all the time. And my only outlet was making videos. You know, I was trying to get into the beauty game. I was trying to get into the beauty influencer game, okay? As y'all know, your girl didn't get no play for the longest time. And that is something that, you know, a lot of people, a lot of my glamazons will be like, oh my God, do you have any advice for, you know, creating my channel or like starting out? And I'm gonna be real with you, because like I would be lying if I said I know how to, you know, become a creator now, because I don't. This was like, you know, almost 10 years ago. But what I will say is like consistency. This shit, it is not for the weak. It will tear you down because each and every one of the projects that you put your name on, your time and energy into, like the creative aspect of it, and you put it all together and you wrap it in a beautiful bow and you put it on the internet and people don't respond to it the way that you wanted them to, or feel it the way that you felt it and like what you put into it, you know what I'm saying? It really can't like your spirit. It really can't. I did this for 2 years while holding down 2-3 jobs at a time, weekend jobs, night jobs, day jobs, riding on a bus, being without a car for almost a year, like just going through all kinds of shit. My mom was sick, like everything in the world is just boom, boom, boom. And I was like, what the fuck am I doing? When you start questioning yourself to the point of like trying to quit something that you genuinely love, it's typically because, girl, the enemy works. It's typically because you are so unbelievably close to reaching the goal that you're trying to reach that, I mean, whatever it is that you believe in, whether it's like, you know, bad juju or like whatever, like I don't know, an energy will try to stop you. I started sharing my stories. Finally, y'all gave your girl the time of day. Okay, y'all actually heard me out. And y'all found some hilariousness in me, and all of a sudden, boom, girl, from one day to the next, it was just like my videos were like popping off, and I'm like gaining subscribers, and it was crazy. It was like such an unreal moment in my life where it was just like I don't know, like I couldn't even believe it. I thought somebody was pranking me for a second. I don't know how to handle this. I don't know how to handle like the comments. I don't know how to handle any of it. Plus I have my full-time job, my part-time job, and I was just like, I didn't even know what to do, how to even begin. So I'm like really dedicating myself every single night, staying up until early hours in the morning, you know, just trying to do all of the things, you know. I made myself a little business email, you know what I'm saying? First company to ever give your girl any play, and they sent me a PR package of their brushes with Sigma. Oh my God. And my OGs remember, and I did this video. They didn't pay me or anything. They just sent me their brushes, and I did this video with their brushes, and I was so excited about it. And I was like, oh my God, this is it. This turned into another full-time job, because it wasn't just like the filming and the editing and the setting up and the, you know, getting all of the stuff that you need for your videos, but also, you know, the back end administrative work, the clerical part of it, where, you know, you're answering emails and, you know, going forward, and like then all of a sudden brands are trying to reach out to you, or contractual agreements and things like that. And you guys know how I feel about stuff like that, and I felt like I was going to lose my mind because I didn't know how to manage all of this. Now I would like to reiterate this, and I'm probably going to repeat this more into the video, but it's because I really want you guys to understand the emphasis of the fact that this was a very new occupation. Nobody knew what they were doing. Nobody knew what they were talking about. There was no such thing as like an influencer managers or whatever. Nothing like that. I used to take time at my work job to check my, you know, my executive emails, like, you know, because I was an executive assistant. I would check his emails, and then right next to it on my other monitor, checking mine, okay? Because, you know, I got business too. I remember coming across this email, and like the subject line had something to do with like management services, something like that, right? I literally ignored it and like went on with my day. Well, fast forward, and every single week I was getting maybe 1 to 2 emails a week from this same person. And we're gonna name them, I mean, it is what it is. Her name was Tony. I ain't even gonna lie, I would skim them. I mean, they were like a paragraph, 2 paragraph long emails. I thought she was trying to sell me something, and I was like, no. Fast forward like another month or two, and this lady is so persistent, and she is showing up in my inbox all the time, alongside with like, you know, I was doing Ask Nikki's. I was like, everything was coming out of this one inbox. It was a mess, okay? My day job was doing this exact thing for another person. And I was like, this is a whole ass job. And it was just right place, right time, right moment. I was in the right mindset, and I see an email from Tony. And I was like, you know what? I'm actually gonna take the time to read what this lady has to say. She keeps reintroducing herself. If I ever need help, reach out. She's always available. You know, they have, you know, many different services that can help me with my day-to-day tasks as, you know, a content creator. And if I ever need any help, I need help. CPR, bitch, I need help. I apologized, you know, for the delay in response, and, you know, the fact that I was kind of lost in this niche that I was now in, and this was just very new for me. And, you know, I would love to be in contact with her to get more information about what it is that she does, what services she provides. Like, let me get some background info, right? Immediately she responds, and she sends me her phone number. And she was like, can I call you today? And I was like, yeah, for sure. So I tell her what time I got off work. Now, she was based out of LA. So, you know, there was a time difference there. And she was like, no, that's perfect. And I told her what time I would be getting off of work. And I remember calling my mom on the way home. And I told her about this lady. And my mom was like, okay, you be very cautious. Like, not even my mom could give me a whole lot of advice when it came to like the legalities of this. Because like I said, it was a very new concept. She advised that I write down like a list of things that I struggle with keeping up with, such as emails, or, you know, reading through contracts or negotiations, okay? Like a lot of these back and forth tedious tasks that would cost me too much time. I just didn't have time to do it with everything else that I was doing. So I went home and I did just that. Wrote down a list of everything that I struggle to, you know, maintain on a day-to-day basis and on a weekly basis for my business. Very nervous. I don't know why I felt like this was like an interview or some sort, but I guess like I could feel it in my soul and in my spirit that like something was gonna shift. Something was changing in my life, and I didn't want to make the wrong decision. Well, hey girl, oh my God, it's so good to get you on the phone finally. Like, thank you so much. You know, like she sounded kind of young. She just had this very like positive energy to her. So I'm like, oh my God, hi. There's an umbrella. It's a management company. She works under that umbrella. She is a representative for this company as like a manager. What they would do is they would work with different content creators and essentially divvy them up amongst the representatives. And like that would be your key person. So Tony, if I chose to work with her and her company, of course, that she would be like my direct rep, my direct rep, and that she would stand in as my manager. She would take care of all of my daily tasks, and they were only assigned X amount of creators to take care of, to make sure that each creator got, the ample amount of time and attention. First of all, the administrative part, she would essentially be my administrative assistant, especially over like emails. A lot of on my list was like the electronic portion that anybody can handle, remotely. She tells me that they have like a media team that will help you create your thumbnails and will help you create like marketing tools and this, that, and like their graphic designers. She could also get me in contact with somebody to perfect my logo and like, all of these things and these keywords, and everything sounds amazing. Everything sounds like this is exactly what I need. I need somebody to streamline what I'm doing, so that I can maintain professionalism and organization and all of those things that I find important with what I do for somebody else. I need somebody to do that for me, okay? I have this list, and I want you to tell me how feasible it is for you to help me with these things, X, Y, and Z. And I name off my list. We talk about them individually, and she is so confident. 150% confident. Serious talk came into play. Of course, there's a contractual agreement involved, and so she tells me that part. So this part essentially is where they get paid and how they get their money. The contract, they had a few different options. They had like a 3-month, a 6-month, and a year. During that time, you would be exclusively represented by them and your rep, which for me would be Tony. In return, they would take a percentage of my AdSense revenue. I want to say, if I'm remembering correctly, it was like 10 to 15% of my monthly revenue, and whatever money that I made on YouTube, they got that amount for their services. Think about it. I wasn't ready to sign a contract, and she was very, very understanding, and she was like, no, of course, like I'm not going to expect you to, sign away your business or anything like that, without giving me a try. So we do a trial period of 2 weeks, and I will show you what those 2 weeks will look like with my help and with me on the back end handling everything for you. And all you have to do, she kept repeating this, all you have to do is focus on creating. I get off this call and I am just so like relieved, and I feel like this is like, it was a great call. I called my mom immediately and told her all of these great things, and she was like, okay, well, I'm glad that you have a trial period and let's see what she can do. And I was like, all right, cool. She had my phone number and everything by this point, and I got a text from her, and she was like, hey, this is Tony, like, this is just an easier way for you to get a hold of me if you ever need anything, like I'm just like, I wanted to make it as simple as possible for you to get a hold of me and right? And I was like, oh my God, this is great. Like my manager, like a text message away, what? She's emailing me like some tips and tricks and like, what I should put in my description box, and like, wanted to know what I had planned to be filming later that day, and just, very, very much into what I was doing. She went through my email, got rid of spam, brought things that were important to my attention, and it was very simple. She was like, do you want to move forward or no? Yes or no, yes or no. And it was very simple, and she handled the rest. If anybody that I said yes to, she was like, I'll handle the response. You can proofread it and, confirm it before I send it. And it was working seamlessly. Now, this was like Monday through Friday. And so, it was a very, very good week. Fast forward to the second week, okay? Things slowed down a little bit. I started noticing that I was hitting the inbox, a little bit quicker than her. There were some unread messages, nothing too crazy, but, she wasn't as like on it. But I was like, what, maybe she's just like a tad bit busy, no big deal. I had mentioned to her that I wanted to finalize like a logo. You can't be a brand without a logo, okay? And I was really struggling creatively trying to figure out a logo that best represented me. And also, like, I don't know, girl, like I started my channel out as like a beauty channel, okay? Like I was trying to do beauty stuff. So I named my Nikki Glamour. That's where that came from. And then I started doing this and I was like, does this even make sense? Like, does it make sense? But it does make sense, actually. She tells me that she wants me to get a hold of this girl, gives me this girl's email address, and she was like, she can help you kind of bring your vision to life when it comes to your logo. So I get a hold of this girl, okay? And we end up doing like a Zoom call. She's super nice. So we start having this conversation and we start kind of like, brainstorming. And I had like these terrible drawings of like, my rendition of what I think it should look like, but I'm a terrible artist. And I was like, I'm so sorry, like this is all I have. And she was so unbelievably nice. We had this really great meeting and like everything was great. And then towards the end of the conversation, she said something to me that was just a tad bit odd. It gave me the mini little red flag. Hey, do you have Tony's email? And I was like, I find out that this girl has never like been in contact with Tony. Like, I guess Tony had heard about her from somebody else and like just set this up. Like, Tony never talked to her. Like, it was surprising to her that I was in connection with her because of somebody that gave out her email. She didn't even know who this person was. And I was like, oh, girl, all this time I'm thinking that this is one of the artists or like graphic designers that works under this umbrella. And she is not. Self-employed, you know, I do this on the side. I'm a college student. And I was like, oh my God, what? And so, you know, I had some questions. I didn't know what was going on. Like, how was this going to work? Fast forward, y'all. And I talked to Tony about, you know, this artist. And I was like, I really want to work with her. But like, does she have like a contract with you? Like, she's saying that she doesn't know you. And Tony was very, I don't know, she was like very dodgy about it. And she was like, oh yeah, like, you know, we work with all types of different artists. And like, if you choose to work with her, we just like invoice her. You know, we have her invoice us and then we invoice you. And I was like, okay. Seems like an unnecessary middleman situation, but okay, whatever. So little red flag. Fast forward, okay, girl, when I tell you, like, as soon as that 2-week mark was up, girl, my phone would not stop. Text messages, calls. I got emails from Tony. Hey girl, like, let me know like when you're available. I would love to get you on a phone call. Let's get some updates. Let's get this and that. And I knew, girl, she was like on it. Like, she was like on me, like white on rice. You hear me? Sure enough, the first thing that she, you know, talks about is getting into an agreement. She's like telling me all of the visions that she has. And I've been in touch with this person and I've been in touch with this person. And, you know, we've been working on like the back end to make sure that you are marketed as well as you can be, and like this, that. And she was coming at me with numbers and figures and like, this season's coming up, you know, we have like some great concepts for you, and everything just sounded amazing. And I was like, oh my God, you have put so much time and energy and effort. I may have felt good vibes, girl, but I am not feeling 12 months worth of a good vibe, okay? 3 months. I don't know why, but something in my spirit, my head, my heart, something was like, not too long. Not too long. It's almost like I needed a further trial period, but this time I'm actually gonna be paying for it. So little awkward. I forgot what I said, but I was like trying to sugarcoat it, and I was like, I just want the 3 month. So she sends over the contract, and it's pages and pages and pages, right? So I print it off at my job, take it to my mom's condo after work, and she and I, you know, go through it. And, you know, my mom's looking at it, and she's like, I mean, everything here seems, you know, right up the alley, like up to par, and it seems like all legal. It seems fine, but it is, you know, a contractual binding agreement. Take the contract home, and I look over it one more time, and then I sign it and I send it back. And Tony is so elated, girl. She calls me and congratulations, and you have an entire team behind you, and we are going to do everything that we can to make sure that you are successful, and, you know, that you just build your brand up to whatever it is that you want it to be. And I was like, oh my God, great. Yes. I was like on cloud 9, girl. I really felt like I made it. Like, not me having an actual manager. Oh my God. I don't know why things can't be normal for me. I don't know why it just can't work out. I don't know. Fast forward, and I'm not hearing from Tony that often. And like, I was hearing from her almost on a daily basis before, but now I was hearing from her like maybe 2-3 times a week. Okay, no big deal, fine. And I just wanted, just for shits and gigs, okay, just wanted to see how my inbox was looking. So I was at work and I checked my business email. I see a slew of unread emails, just not even touched, like from the weekend all the way up to like when I was looking at it. There was like no reason in my mind for like all of these emails to not even be looked at. So I was like, odd. So I go ahead and I go through all the emails and I make the responses that I need to make, and I just make a note of it, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to talk to Tony about this, because like, I get Tony on the phone shortly thereafter, and I bring up the email. I was super young at the time, and I didn't know how to manage anybody. Like, I didn't know how to, I don't know, tell somebody what to do. I should have had a more direct conversation with her, but I kind of brought it up like, I just like noticed that like some of the emails weren't answered. She pivots, girl. She pivots so fast, and she was like, oh yeah, like, I noticed that too, and like, here's the thing. I have noticed with time and with my expertise and my knowledge, having an actual like business email is the best thing for your business. So I would highly recommend that you change your email to reflect your business, because like my older email was like Nikki Glamour YT, okay? And I was like, it literally is my business. Like, what you talking about? And she was like, no, like she wanted business to be a part of like the whole email. And I was like, she talks me into opening a brand new email. And she was like, this will make it easier for us to streamline things. It can make it hard to organize it and go through all the fluff. So like, let's start fresh. Let's start now. When you have a manager, it's not a small deal, because these people have access to everything. As soon as I signed that contract, she had to have username passwords for my platforms, for my emails. Anything that was pertaining to my business and Nikki Glamour and my channel, she needed to have access to on the back end. Otherwise, she wouldn't be able to do her job effectively. So I passed on my username, my passwords, all my login information to Tony so that she can manage my shit, my stuff, okay? Along with that was the username and password for the new email that I just created. Okay, cool. Also, the other piece of business that I wanted to talk to her about was the artist that I wanted to work with for my logo. And she had not talked to me about her since I had that conversation, that Zoom call with that girl. And I was like, hey, like, what's up with, you know, so-and-so? Like, I really want to work with her, and I want to get, you know, like a ETA on when we can get this done. You know, I'm like over here trying to like be business-minded, like, hello. And she's going to tell me, oh, yeah, sorry, that's not going to work out. You know, the agreement kind of fell through. We're going to find you another artist though, Nikki. I'm on it. Don't worry. Like, we'll set up another call. And I was like very disappointed. And I was like, why? And she was like, oh, and she just gave me this roundabout answer of like, you know, oh, it's just a conflict of scheduling, or like she's not available anymore, or something like that. And I was like, and I really wanted to work with her. And I was like, that's weird. I just was like, she keeps telling me, don't worry. Like, we're going to get you in contact with better artists. Don't even worry about it. Fast forward, y'all. And before the end of the week, I don't know what it was, but like I just felt like I could feel Tony kind of slipping away and kind of backing off and kind of like not being as cheekly as she was before. Why do I check my email? This new email that Tony specifically told me to have to make it more streamlined and easier to organize, and I look in there and none of the emails are read. None of the emails are read. It's at this point in time that I start having difficulty contacting Tony and getting a hold of Tony. Now all of a sudden I know what her voicemail sounds like because I'm getting it so damn much. Now my emails are going unanswered. My text messages are going unanswered. My calls, every avenue that I could take to try to get a hold of this woman, she's not responding. And if she does, she's telling me, oh, I'm sorry, I'm in a meeting, I'll call you right back. And then she never would. Oh, I'm so sorry for the delay here. Yeah, I'll get right on it and I'll have, you know, an ETA for you here and here. And then she would like do the bare minimum. Then we were having like once a week meetings, if that. And I'm expecting a whole like lowdown, what's going on with like, you know, what are we doing? Like what's the new tea? Like what's happening? I knew in the back of my mind that she wasn't checking those emails in a timely manner. I was. So half of the things that she was bringing to me, like half of the things that I was answering and everything on that email, she wasn't even privy to, because by the time she checked it, it looked like, you know, all the emails were up to date, and it was because I was the one maintaining them. And so when we were having these meetings, you know, I was kind of going back and forth with her, and she was like bringing like this fluff stuff to me, like just, you know, this is what we should do and you should have a photo shoot. And I'm like, hey, who's talking about all that? I want to know about like this brand, and I want to know about like what are my demographics look like, what are my analytics looking like, and what is my audience enjoying the most of. Like, you are supposed to be bringing these things to me. But it got to a point, y'all, where I was like so frustrated, and it was more work for me to stay on top of Tony than it was for me to just do it myself. So legitimately, about halfway through this contract, I stopped trying to chase her down. When I tell you, I'm not exaggerating when I tell you that I was not having the best of luck getting a hold of her for any reason. It was constantly like a 48, 72 hour turnaround when I'm trying to initially contact her for her to get back to me about anything, any given subject. And at that point, like, why? And so I was back in the same boat that I was in previously, initially, before I even signed on to this contract. And like I said, about halfway through my contract, about a month and a half into it, I just was like, you know what, F it. F it. And I just took over everything all over again. I was working out of frustration because I felt like nobody was helping me, and I felt like they were just like taking my money at this point, which they were. This continues to happen. I'm not gonna go back and forth. I'm just gonna wait for this contract to be out. I went back to the conversation about that artist. Like, you know, I just felt something special about her and I wanted to fucking work with her. Well, I also had her email. So I emailed her and I was like, hey, I know you might be busy, you know, just based off of what Tony was telling me. I know you might be busy, but like, I really want to work with you. And like, if you have any time, I would love to like jump on a call with you and see if we can make this work. And girl, she emailed me back right away and she was like, hey, can we Zoom like later today? And I was like, absolutely. So I get on a Zoom with her. Why is she gonna tell me that what I was experiencing with Tony, just her like ghosting and like not responding to shit, that's what Tony did to her? And she told Tony, oh yeah, I would love to work with Nikki. We worked out so many details. I'm confident that I can do this for her. And like, I think this would be a good fit. Like essentially telling her she wants to work with me too. And Tony just never responded. Tony just never responded. We are like almost 2 months out from the original time that I was interested in finalizing my logo. What you mean? Time is money, hunty. What you talking about? And like, had it been me managing my own thing, like this would have been done already. You know what I'm saying? So I was like so pissed. I was so pissed. Well, I find out, girl, and it made me so sad. I find out that this girl worked with Fiverr, you know, on Fiverr on the website, and she was working for like pennies on the dollar for her work as a side hustle because like she just needed extra money. Like I said, she was in college. Outside of Tony, she and I made an agreement and we worked together outside of my management company who was supposed to handle all of this for me. I went ahead and went outside of that and contracted my own graphic designer to help me finalize my logo, which we did. Silhouette logo that's on the back sides of my hoodies that will be live in a merch store very, very soon in time for the holidays. Don't even worry about it. She is the one who created that logo for me and I will forever be grateful. Fully managing myself, and I'm in the same, you know, situation that I was before, and it just fucking amazing. So fast forward, and I was making videos back to back to back, and I was still trying to keep my toe in like the fashion and beauty world. So I was doing like try on hauls, I was doing get ready with me's, I was doing like SFX for a little bit. I tried, you know, I was just trying different things. And that's also another, you know, note that I would tell you guys, those of you guys that want to start your own channel or, you know, have your own platform, try different things, because that's how I found it. I was like super into creating outfits and stuff like that, and I was doing like this fall lookbook. And you know, girl, I was living in my shitty apartments, okay, and there was very minimal places to film, but I had to get creative with like my backdrops and stuff like that. And I was out there on the side of my apartment building and there was like, it was literally the area that Julian used to play football with his friends. I just like angled the camera a certain way with like this, you know, like pretty-ish tree, and I'm out there, girl, and I'm like, you know, filming my outfits, going in my apartment, changing to the next one, filming the next one, and I'm in the process of this, and my phone rings and it's Tony. And like I said, by this point, like I was going like 2 weeks without hearing from her at a time, okay? Like I was going long periods of time without hearing from my manager, and I was like, I don't have time for it. So I ignored it. I keep filming, I'm doing my thing, I go in and I change into another outfit, boom, my phone rings again. As many times as you ignore me, ho, I'm gonna ignore you. Like, what you mean? What you mean? You think I'm just available for you? Absolutely not. And girl, I finished filming, I go inside, I make dinner. Meanwhile, my phone rings about 2 more times. And we're all just chilling on the couch, and then Julian's there, David's there, and Chiquito, y'all remember Chiquito? Tony calls again. Okay, you know what? There's only so far my stubbornness would go until I believe in confrontation. Y'all know me, okay? But at this time in my life, it took me a while to get there. Now it's just like I'll call it for what it is. But back then, you know, I had to be pushed, and so I had been pushed far enough. And I was like, I know you not over here calling my phone. Like, you're crazy after all this time that I've been trying to get a hold of your funky self, and you think that you're gonna be calling me at almost 9 p.m. at night? Are you serious? Hello? What's up, Tony? Straight up like that, you hear me? I don't know why she was still on this nice, oh, hey, girl. Oh, nothing. I was just wondering how you were doing, and like, I just wanted to check in. And I was like, at almost 9 p.m.? I'm sorry, I didn't even realize. And like, she just like seemed a little off. I was like, Tony, how can I help you? Oh, I just checked the emails and there's like this brand that wanted to send you a few things and I wanted to see how you felt about it. I think it was like Ipsy or like, you know, the subscription bags, like the little makeup bags. So she's bringing this to me and like, you know, I just wanted to tell you as soon as it came in. And I was like, Tony, I was done with the okie doke. I'm not going to keep doing this dance with you. Here's the thing. That is not the first time that they've gotten a hold of me. We've been talking. That email that you just saw was in response to an email that I've already sent because I have been maintaining the emails. I would hardly say like maintaining because every time I check, you know, everything is up to date. Everything's been responded to. And I was like, because of me. I don't know, like it doesn't take a rocket scientist for you to log into this email and realize that there are things there that have been answered and responded to and read at the very least that you did not do. So I don't know if you think that there's like some sort of entity or some sort of divine being that's doing this on your behalf. Nah, girl, it's me. It's me. Okay? Immediately I just start shutting down because you're not going to continue to take me for a ride. Like I've been very nice. I've been very understanding, yo-yoed around, and I've had enough. I've had my fill. I don't need your services because there is none that you're providing. So sorry, like if I haven't been meeting, you know, your needs. And I was like, not at all. Not at all. It was probably the rudest conversation that I've ever had, but like I'm done. How many times? Like why are we like pussyfooting around this? You know when you haven't been doing your due diligence. You know when you haven't been doing right by me as your client. At this point, we're maybe like, I don't know, like 2 weeks from the end of the contract. And when I tell you, this girl puts it into high gear, you hear me? And all of a sudden I'm getting emails. All of a sudden the emails are getting answered. They're being looked through, everything like that. And then she calls me one day and she tells me about this company that specializes in like, it's like Bitly links, and they transform, you know, it's like before Amazon storefronts was a thing. But essentially, you know, Tony was like, hey, you know, I want to get you in contact with this company. What they will do, because I was still doing beauty, you know, stuff at the time. She was like, all of the products that you use in your videos, they will create links for them. And then when your audience uses those links to shop, you'll get like a commission off of it. And I was like, oh, wow. And it was like a concept that I hadn't heard of before at that time. And I was like, oh, weird, crazy. Okay, cool. And I was really thinking about it from the convenience aspect of it. I don't make beauty videos all the time, but I do like linking things and like, you know, telling my audience what it is that I'm using, da-da-da. So I think this would be a good fit. So they were like, okay, cool. It would not cost me anything or anything. It was very easy to set up. And they were like, you're going to have to set up an account. And I was like, all right, cool. So of course, alongside of every other account, you know, information, Tony is released the username and password to this account. And basically what they do is they do the analytics. It was like essentially a way to view the dashboard of how well the links are doing, what links are being used the most, the analytics of it all. And she had access to the dashboard for obvious reasons to see how things were performing. And it was still a very new concept. And so it was a very tedious task. Like every link, all they provided me with was like this generator. What I didn't know though is that I had to go product by product and create the links myself one by one and then copy and paste them into my description. So I maybe did it for like 3 or 4 videos and then I was just like done. It just wasn't, you know, I don't know. I just wasn't I wasn't interested in any of that. Like I really enjoyed talking to y'all and whatever. The end of the 3 months comes around and Tony is emailing me and calling me, and here we go. And I'm no longer under contract with them. And so I start changing my usernames and my passwords, obviously. As soon as I changed one password, y'all, she's calling me and emailing me and texting me. And why this girl send me another 3-month contract, a renewal, if you will, with an email with a bunch of smiley faces and exclamation points. And girl, it has been such a pleasure working with you, and I am just so confident in like the next level that we can take you to as a team. And I went ahead and I took the liberty of just attaching, you know, a renewal contract, you know, below. If you want to take a look at it, if you have any questions, you let me know. Don't you just love when they be acting stupid? Don't you just love it when they be acting dumb? Because like, who in their right mind would re-sign with you? I just want to know. I just want to know, because you have robbed me, because you literally took money and like did not work for it. You did not do nothing. Not a damn thing. Okay. Not nothing came to fruition with you. Not nothing. I will not be re-signing with you or your company or anything. I've changed my passwords. You no longer have access to any of these things. I would not like to move forward with the renewal at all. Wow. I just wasn't expecting, like, so surprised, so shocked to clutch my pearls. What? Girl, she starts telling me that maybe we were just on different pages. Maybe there was a miscommunication, but it's easily fixable. Would I like another trial period? She'll give me 2 weeks free for a trial period. Let her show me what she can do. She has so many plans and so many visions and so many people that she's in contact with. And oh my God, and I was just talking to them about you, and like, you could only be in business with them with me, and like, you wouldn't want to miss out on this opportunity, would you? Girl, don't play me. Don't try to play with me. Don't try to dangle some false conversations in front of me and some falsities in front of me as a way to deter from the fact that you have not been doing your job. And you think that I'm going to trust you for another 3 months? Absolutely not. I'm not playing this with you no more. And you can take me off the roster, because I'm not your client anymore. And like, I said what I said, and I fired my manager then and there. I was like, you no longer work with me. We are no longer a team. Towards the end of that conversation, girl, she got her attitude so fast, because I was holding her feet to the fire, and I was like, what happened to this? Because she was like pushing me, like, what is it? What was it? Like, you know, was it something that I did? Was it something? Like, yes. If there's anything that's going to piss me the fuck off, is the fact that you are going to make me use my time to explain to you what you already know. So if you're going to make me do that, you're going to have an attitude along with it, because you are wasting my time. And if you actually want me to hold a mirror in front of your face, I will do that 100 times, bitch. I will get the biggest, crispest mirror for you to look at if you really want to go down that road. So I did. I bullet pointed that shit, okay? This, not done. This, not done. This, I was doing. This, you lied. Do you have any more questions? Girl, she stayed quiet for the whole thing. Well, I'm sorry that you didn't find value in my work. I wish you the best of luck too. Go thieve from someone else, okay? Because I know good work. You can't fool me. You can't be sitting up here trying to tell me that I should be grateful for the little things that you've been doing when I do this on the everyday basis, and I literally make this whole man's life go round and round, and I'll be booking flights and booking restaurants and applying for credit cards on his behalf. Like, what you mean? His calendar is pristine, and you sitting up here telling me that I should be grateful? Girl, please get out of my face. So I cut off all contact, okay? All contact. Now, this should be the end of the story. It should be the end of the story. We moved out of the shitty apartment into this house. We were here. By this point, I was probably like 2 years removed from this situation with Tony, okay? Have not been signed with nobody. Do not have a contractual agreement with nobody. I do not have no managers, no nothing, no representation, no nothing. It was for tax purposes, okay? And it showed me like all of the payments that had been sent to me over the last year from this company for working with them or whatever, like payouts, okay? I'm not talking like thousands, girl, okay? Let's think smaller. And the payouts were very infrequent. I did not recognize these payouts at all. So I call this company. Well, turns out, girl, this is the same company that provided, like, that would make those links for, you know, to link to the products, you know what I mean? And it was the same company, and I had not worked with them since back then. And I'm like, hi. And she was like, oh, hey. So essentially, girl, she tells me that they had a backlog of payouts, and they didn't know, like, they didn't have the payout information that they needed in order to send me my payouts as it was happening. So they backlogged, and then all of a sudden they, like, I don't know, like, I guess they only have a certain amount of time that they can hold on to that money, and they have to release it. So they cut a check. So, you know, we cut this check, and, you know, we sent it over to you. And I was like, no, ma'am. I have not received no check. What you talking about? Here, I'm reflecting, you know, on this date. We sent out a hard copy check. She says the address to me, and it's in California. And I was like, ma'am, I don't live over there. I was like, where did you send this? And so, girl, she tells me the information that she has and the contact info for the person that could receive this on my behalf. And she sent it and addressed it to Tony X Management Company. And this was like months ago. This was months ago that they sent the check. I was just getting notified for tax purposes. And I was like, what? what? And she was like, yeah, like I'm so sorry. And I was like, she was like, we in our files, she's still like a representative of yours, no? And I was like, no. No. Turns into this whole thing. I got to talk to the accounting department. The accounting department tells me, yes, it's been cleared. It was cleared right upon receipt. As soon as they received it, the check was cleared. And I was like, okay. All right, cool. I have to go back through my emails. I got to go through her like little signature portion to find her phone number. Like literally deadline, like no response, like nothing. I had gotten a new phone by this point. I no longer had her phone number, like her cell phone number anymore. I take that number that was on her signature and I just start messing around with the last four, because typically these are extensions. Girl, I start messing around like 3-4 times and I finally get somebody on the phone. And like he is like in a completely different department. He is so lost. And I was like, hi, hello, hi. And I pretended. I sure did. I lied. Oh my God, I was on the phone with, I can't even remember his name, but he was in management and I just like got disconnected. I'm so sorry. Is there any way that you can transfer me? And he was like, do you know exactly who? He was like being very like weird. And I was like, oh my God, his name is just missing me. Like, I'm so sorry. I was like, it really was more like a billing issue. He was about to get me over to like the accounting. Weird, because like he should know, like we don't have like extensions for like our accounting department. So that's weird. He knew that I was fucking lying. And I was like, oh wow, like I don't know why he would say that. And he was like, yeah, but you can reach them on this email. And I was like, oh, okay. So he gives me this email. And so I was like, thank you so much for your time. And I get on my computer and I email them immediately. And I was like, hey, you know, this is my name, this is the situation. Like I need answers, or otherwise I'm gonna have to take legal action. And like, it's the principle of the thing. This wasn't a whole lot of money that was, the check was cut out for. It was like a little bit over 100 maybe, but it's the principle of the thing. It's the principle of the thing. Attorneys involved. If you guys do not contact me, because I need to know what the hell happened. Like within the next like 2 days, I get a phone call. It's from a Los Angeles number. I was at work and I went to the bathroom and I answered the phone. She had quite the story for me. First of all, she was like, I am so sorry that you had this experience. This is why we let Tony go. This is why, because we found out that she was, you know, kind of involved in some shady activities, you know, within the company. And I was like, really? Like thievery? We are not even showing that your check, like the check that was written to you evidently was not written to like the management company. It was addressed to her. So we have no record of like us in the accounting department receiving that check. Like none of us received that check. And I was like, they had no idea where that money went. They had no idea that she had even received it. And Miss Ma'am walked away with money that she did not earn. I think I've proven myself over time, like money is not everything to me. It really does not mean hardly ain't shit to me. If we didn't have to live off money, I really wouldn't care about it. I truly believe money is the root of all evil, and it brings out the worst in people, like this situation, like thieving and like, you know, stealing. And it was so far past, you know, my being represented by her. I just could not even get my mind around the fact that like she was still benefiting, whether big or small, off of working with me. And she did that, and she took money that was not for her, and then she dipped, and like nobody knew where she was. And like, you know, technically speaking, I could have, you know, taken legal action against that company, but like at the end of the day, it was not about the money. It was about the principle of the thing. There's no end to this story. It just like, I just let it go. I know that there are plenty of professionals out there now. I know that this is not as rare as it used to be. I understand that there are whole occupations that specialize in management of content creators. I have been bitten and I have been jaded. And so although I struggle now with balancing my work and my home life and my children and everything, at least I know that I'm privy to everything that's happening on the back end. I know that the content that I'm creating is true to me, and I don't have anybody stealing from me or, I don't know, plotting and planning against me. Like there's a lot of trust that has to be there. Good nature of people, and sometimes I believe it's so much to my own detriment, and I would just prefer to be left alone. You know, I wish that I had like a little sister, a little cousin, you know, like I know that one of my creator friends, like her sister was like helping her, you know, manage her. And like, of course, they're going to care a lot about your business, but I don't have anybody in my life who's available like that and who like loves me like that and like just like loves what I do and understands what I do to the depths that I do and places the importance that I place on what I do. Although I struggle and you guys get frustrated, just know that I I am one person and I do the very best that I can. And I promise you that my best will always be better than a management company's worst. I promise you that. And I don't know if that'll ever be healed in me. I don't know if there's ever anybody in this world that can, I don't know, like make me trust again. So anyways, y'all, that is my story about having a manager and why I don't, and like, you know, the happenings, you know, behind the scenes and my experience with that. Definitely place a lot of emphasis and importance on your team. And if you are building a team for your business, whatever the case may be, make sure that you vet them well and make sure that they see and align with your beliefs and your values and your morals and your ethics and your business practice and your motto and all of those things, because it really does take honest individuals. And on the flip side of that, when you do have a team, treat them well, pay them well, you know, because they're hard to come by. I am living proof of that. To find a good team, a loyal team, an ethical team is very hard to come by. So when you find them, treat them well. Never believe that you're above anybody else. With that being said, that is it for today's story time. I hope you guys enjoyed it as per usual. Definitely let me know your thoughts down below. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't, and follow me on my socials for all of the tea on the side. But I love y'all so much, but God loves you more, and I will see your fine self in my next video. Peace out.